We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Let me ask you something. Fear, greed in crypto, okay, in Bitcoin specifically, went from like 90 before Thanksgiving to like 70 something and is now at 50. So the bond market makes some adjustments based on the fact that, the Fed is probably not going to cut rates this year. Okay. Let's get a little light on the subject. The Fed is not going to cut rates this year. Okay. Or not going to cut rates until further notice or until they have a major problem or crisis. Okay. So the bond market makes an adjustment. All the hedge funds scare everybody. Everyone loses their mind and sells and gets bearish. So it's one thing if you get washed out or stopped out, and I know altcoins got totally hammered, but why is everyone negative? Like, are people aware that like gold has a decent bid to it? Because persistent inflation with, the Fed really not able to do anything about it because they were never able to do anything about it is constructive for gold. Meanwhile, you have sterling, right? The great British peso, right? Pound sterling, painfully, right? Because I'm English, is melting down. Now, maybe that down trade is ending, but you have like major league fiat currencies collapsing. Gold is bid, and not only are we dumping crypto, but we're like giving up on it. This is like what? 2 weeks after everybody was talking about 150, and now it's like I'm bearish and it's going to zero, and I guess I'll buy it back at 70. And I understand that there are negative chart formations that are scaring people, but if those chart formations actually played out, where would fear, greed be? Where would sentiment be? Would it be at 25% bullish? I mean, if fear, greed is in a balance zone, it's how much room for more panic is there? Now, is there room for volatility? Is there room to scare you in a confined space? Like, we do a rally off the payroll number and then they get freaked out again about inflation or, whatever the powers that be want you to be. They want you to be afraid. So, they'll always produce a reason. Meanwhile, 2 months from now, we'll probably look back on the first week of January and be like, why did everybody get negative? What happened? So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the news. We'll go over the payroll number, right? Gangbusters, jobs everywhere. Okay. I mean, they've been selling us that for 3 years. So, why not sell it to us one more time on the way out? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't start telling the truth now, boys. You're going to disappoint us. So we had the payroll number today, and we'll go over that, and we'll go over some crypto charts. It's not perfect, and it's a little scary, but it's not a total disaster yet, right? It feels like the real disaster is going on in the currency market, which is ideal for things like gold and Bitcoin. Now that the dollar is going up because other currencies are melting down. Now, I will just tell you this. It's very simple. We can go over news for 45 minutes. We need a different currency. We need a better currency, right? The great British pound is telling you that, right? It's, sterling is a very big macro indicator. It is. Now, I don't know. Sterling is not doing anything huge, but it is down only. It is down only. The market is making a vote about a major world currency. Now, we're all futzing about the bond market. Okay, the bond market's adjusting itself for the fact that the Fed is probably going to take the entire year off, right? They're going to take the entire year off. They're not going to do anything. Let's assume that. So once the bond market is adjusted to the fact that the Fed probably won't do anything this year, what do you want to do? Get negative? Run away? not take advantage of like a huge dip and massive bearish sentiment that appears out of nowhere? Like, crypto gave up on itself in a week. They hammered it they'll hammer it for like 10 days and everyone's packing it in. 10 days. People, we can't have an enduring uptrend if everyone packs it in 10 days or 5 days, really. All right, so let's welcome who's here. Let's go over what's going on. We've been doing this like fireside chat format. We'll continue that. Can't believe I didn't turn on the lights. What's the matter with me? Okay, SG is here. Welcome, sir. Banks 911, Miklo, Thomas, David, Arendam, Javier is here. Welcome, sir. Leonardo, excuse me, Teresa, catching it live, right? Oh my God, from AU. Is that Australia? Welcome, sir. Brandon, Tyson, Crypto Scam, Caminilla, Leo, Incredible Gaming, Gian, oh my God, Alexandra up in the middle of the night. Welcome. Michael, Andy from Canada. The Canadians. Last time I thought our problem was what was going on the southern border. And now, you know, I don't know. Are they going to learn how to speak French in Minnesota? I don't know what they're doing. But we got to get back to Bitcoin. So let's start with that. Welcome our friends who are Canadians. Let's go over the news. Okay. Crypto Fear Greed Index has fallen to 50 out of 100. Its lowest since October 14th. Remember, that was when crypto was going to zero prior to the election. I'm not sure you remember that. That was before Michael Saylor was, buying everything. That was before the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. That was before World Liberty Financial, was like buying ETH and Chainlink and trying to get it going. Charles Hoskins going to the inauguration, but let's go back to pre-Thanksgiving levels, right? Remember when Bitcoin was going to 100K? It was like, oh my God, okay, now we're packed it in. We're done. That's it. Go home. Nothing to see here. Got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. Listen, look at Bloomberg. Here we go. Ready? Ooh. Orange Man tariff fears pushing global rates higher, says the IMF chief. Okay, so these are your choices. We can listen to her or you can buy Bitcoin. Right? So let's get this straight. This character has got fear greed at 50. People, listen. We're not listening to anybody who looks like a raisin. We're not. Whether it's, people who are heads of sovereign nations or, these, I guess you could call them NGOs, non-governmental entities. Oh, and of course, Bloomberg. Let's trade off Bloomberg, right? The guy who hasn't done anything yet in office. He hasn't done anything except get convicted. Okay, it's the end of the world. Like, I remember the night that the Orange Man got elected in 2016. Like, I applied for a job and I was hired immediately on the spot. Immediately. Why? Because when the Orange Man got elected, the stock market was going to zero. Literally, that's what the line was in 2016. Oh my God. They've disrupted whatever they've disrupted. Like, the Fed can't do what the Fed was going to do. Like, Hillary was going to get together with Janet and everything was going to be copacetic. And then this guy was going to come in and blow everything up. Stock market was up only for 5 years. Now we're going to listen to this person. I'm not. Okay. They can stop me out. Okay. So the apocalypse is still unspooling. Okay, here we have a little apocalypse now action. And, imagine some bad actor started a fire in a 50-mile-an-hour windstorm. And now you have a national security incident in California. And our heart goes out to all those people out there impacted by that because that's not over yet. That's not over yet. And I don't know why everyone's all wound up about economic numbers, because no economic number is going to mean anything if this thing in California goes on and on and on and on, right? I mean, you have billions of dollars in damage, some of it uninsured. How does that affect everything? How does that affect everything? You can't say, oh, well, the employment picture is. You don't know what the employment picture is. And you won't know for 6 months. And that includes inflation. You don't know. I mean, they're going to have to clean this up and then rebuild it. So I don't know what that means. So everyone's like, well, I know what the payroll number means and I know what the Fed's going to do. No, you don't. No, you don't. SEC approved the spot Bitcoin ETF exactly 1 year ago. And of course, that was sell the fact at 48K. Bitcoin ETF, sell the fact. Orange man, everybody's looking for sell the fact. Sell the fact. Sell the fact. The payroll number's out. Orange man's is elected. Sell the fact. Everybody in crypto wants to sell the fact. You know what I want to do? I want to buy the dip, right? Buy the dip until you're wrong. That's it. That's it, right? It's like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to get bearish at 50%. Now, to be fair, okay, did I get too carried away with the 2025 long-term forecast? Yes, right? I was like, okay, well, you know what? We have the AI agent, we have the Bitcoin narrative, we have Ethereum and Solana and XRP, and it looks fantastic. And they're going to go crypto made in America, and then they dropped it in my face. Terrible. How bad did I feel? Awful. Really. Felt bad. Felt bad for my viewers. It's always hard to be that wrong until you say to yourself, well, okay, I was wrong. I felt terrible. Now what am I going to do? Continue to feel terrible? Or am I going to get after it? Just like you did with the Bitcoin ETF. U.S. payrolls grew by 256,000, more than expected. More than expected. Meanwhile, another record high for the number of people employed by Uncle Sugar will end 2024 at 23.5 million people employed by Uncle Sugar. Okay. Full-time jobs have fallen 1.3 million since June of 2023. All net job growth is coming from part-time workers. The gig economy has shifted into overdrive. Everyone has had to have a second job. Okay. And I had a great tweet here about Gen Z being the first generation to wind up worse off than their parents. Terrible, right? Everyone's trying to tell me how great everything is. Okay. More than half of all job growth in 24 was either direct or indirect hiring by Uncle Sugar. Manufacturing is not going the right way. All of these aid packages to overseas countries are all going to defense contractors. What happens when that ends? What happens when that ends? The state of New Hampshire introduces a bill for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. 50 states, every government in Europe, every government, everyone's like, oh, let's join BRICS. Let's take a picture with Putin. Let's do all this stuff. I got a better idea. How about we just tell all these people to go get bent and buy Bitcoin? Seriously. Follow this guy. Okay, here we go. Ready? Blowout jobs report fuels Wall Street fear of lose-lose markets, says the geniuses at Bloomberg News. Shocking these people still have a job. It's because Bloomberg has a good brand. It's a blowout number. Current administration goes out on a high note, riding away in the chopper going, I can't believe how many jobs we created. Dude, you can create a lot of jobs running up $37 trillion in debt, man. That buys you a lot. Well, they're going to have to stop that for sure. The bond market has has made its point that, we cannot continue to behave like this. And I'm sure the current administration clearly gets that. Everyone at the Fed is freaking out. Oh my God, what's going to happen when this guy comes in office? They've been printing money incessantly and they tightened rates to 5% and wrecked everybody except Nvidia holders, of course, with this insane tightening policy. Rates are too high, inflation's too high, and inflation's probably going to run hot. So you're going to need a different currency. You're just going to need a better currency. You're going to need hard assets. You're going to need gold. You're going to need Bitcoin. I think you're going to need ETH. I think you're definitely going to need Solana. And it just goes without saying, right? They can't get XRP below $2. And if they did, they'd just be falling over each other to buy it. It's like, oh, you guys want to hit the market on inflation? I don't even know if they can. They might try to hit bonds. Maybe they're going to scare you one more time. I don't know. Like what? We're all going to get bearish Bitcoin with the orange man stepping up to the podium. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, they put their foot in their mouth over this thing with the visas and these tech companies. So they got to come out strong, right? They got to come out strong for like made in the USA. That's got to be crypto, man. And everybody is selling because you had a bond market adjustment and the market finally voted on what's going on in the United Kingdom. We finally hear from a market. Thank you. It's nice to know Mr. Market is still out there. Okay. Bank of America says it no longer expects the Federal Reserve to cut rates this year. Okay. Like, look, it's so over. You know what I'm saying? It's over. I don't know, dude. I don't think it's over. Like, the Fed can do nothing for the entire year. And I'm sure that's what Powell wants. Powell wants to just say, okay. And I said this when they were doing it. It's like, all right, we over tightened and now we're going to adjust back to like a baseline and we're just going to leave it there. Just going to leave it there. Now, the orange man may put pressure on them to lower rates, but I don't think that's going to work. I don't think he has to. They already cut rates. So just leave it there. Leave it there. There are 716,000 fewer native-born citizens, and all net job growth since 2019 is going to people who just got here. And I've been saying this. So how's the currency working out for you? How's the economy? How's it working out for you? Because we know what the demographic of crypto bros is. Like my demographic is 35 to 55. How's it going out there? You liking that 9 to 5, right? Sitting around, waiting for Uncle Sugar to do something for you? That's not going to happen. Waiting for the tech bros to do something for you? It's not going to happen. Waiting for Elon Musk to save you? That's not going to happen. We got to save ourselves, right? And there's only one way to do that. There's only one way. There's only one way. And we're all bearish. We're all bearish. The orange man will be the first president to hold meme coins. Keep airdropping them the Trump coin. It's like, yo, dude, say something. U.S. representative disclosed purchases of Bitcoin, Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana. He must watch the show. Okay, so yeah, all right, we'll talk about that. So these guys may buy Bitcoin. The tech bros are all going to fall in line. Buying Bitcoin is easy. It is. It's really easy. ETH now ranked first in 2024 for the highest revenue among blockchains. Solana finished third. Still making money over there on Ethereum, Aave, Maker, Uniswap, real businesses. Wall Street's coming, but we're not thinking about that because we're thinking about, what are we thinking about? Fill in the blank. I'm bearish because, fill in the blank. Because the bond market went boo. Hedge funds went boo. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's waiting for the crisis. Everyone's waiting for everything to fall apart. Everybody wants everything to come unglued. Right. What's going to come unglued could be your face, because Bitcoin could just go straight up one day. Because just like Sterling, right? Sterling went down, right? Like the government policies and the news became so overwhelming that they lost confidence in the government and the currency. To me, that seems like an incredible development, right? Because, the news flow out of that situation over an extended period of time since that Labor government got elected, like finally the market had enough. I think it's a huge development. I think everybody is obsessed with what the Fed is doing. I think we should be obsessed with what's going on in the currency market. Namely, a major G7 currency is falling apart and gold's bid. I think the gold chart looks just fine to me. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Publicly traded Heritage Distilling adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve and accepting it as payment. Hal Finney predicting 10 million Bitcoin when the price was zero exactly 16 years ago. A lot of people got caught up with the whole idea of 10 million Bitcoin. I'm not really one of those guys, but it's amazing how it's like the only two prices that I ever hear about anymore are 10 million, 80, and 0. Those are like the numbers for Bitcoin. 10 million, 80, and 0. Like no one talks about, possibly running the stops going like 92 or 91, maybe. No one talks about that. No one talks about what happens and says, well, if this thing turns around and gold breaks out, what happens if gold goes to 3,000 and Bitcoin goes to 110 or 105? Where are altcoins? Where's Solana going to be? They're selling you Solana at like 180. They're like giving it away. They're giving it away. And we're all bearish. We're all bearish. Okay, so let's go to live TA. Let's figure this out. All right. So the word of the day is simply volatility, right? So this is Solana. We're hanging around this zone from early December. Share the screen. Thank you. We're hanging around here. There's no immediate DeMark bottoming signal on the 4-hour chart. So there may not be an immediate bottom. The inflation numbers are coming out next week. Hysteria is the name of the game. And I can tell you this much. The longer it takes, the longer the shakeout, the longer the fear, the longer the bottom scraping, the more you have maybe you have failed rallies, or maybe it just starts like trading like weak, like it's going to fall out of bed. I don't know. The longer anything disconcerting goes on, the more powerful it is when it turns. Even if they have to puke it one more time. I honestly, truthfully, I don't know. I know that fear greed at 50 is 40 points lower than it was at Thanksgiving. And the orange man has to bull post crypto even harder because, they're obviously trying to take him out, right? He's a felon now. The bond market's wrecked. Everyone's like going, oh my God, we're going to have a macro crisis. Okay. So what would you do? I mean, Bitcoin worked the first time. Why wouldn't you go back to that? Why wouldn't you pick up the phone and have everybody bull posting Bitcoin? The second you take the hand off the Bible, he picks up his phone and hits the green button and says, buy it all. What's going to happen? You think these czars and all these guys that he's appointed, I mean, what are they going to, are they going to not do that at this point? Because I mean, since Elon put his foot in his mouth over the thing with the visas, it's been nothing but bad news. Nothing but bad news, right? There's only one way out. There's only one. Okay, Ethereum. Okay. Honestly, looks weak, beat up, like they left it by the side of the road. Like they bought it today off the number and they'll probably sell it off inflation. Maybe you'll have one of those hysterical Sunday night moves. I don't know. I mean, if you have to protect yourself, you have to protect yourself. But in 5 days, I mean, could this be it? Could this be like the one big last chance as they just hammer this thing? I mean, you could have one more day, right? The same signal, you're going to have the same signal at the bottom that you had at the top, right? We saw this, and I just couldn't imagine that they would do this to the point where they would chase everyone out of the market. Like, it's crazy, right? XRP goes sideways, puts in the 13 bottom, and it's like right back in the range. And what's XRP done? Nothing, which is telling you something, right? It's done nothing. Like, they can't hit it. They hit it for like, 2 or 3 days, and then they're back on it again. Okay, ETH versus Bitcoin. So ETH can't find a bottom versus Bitcoin despite this constructive signal. You just cannot get a bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. And maybe I should stop looking. Okay, that said, they want to hit the Made in America cryptos. Like, let's just pull up Hedera for a second. See what kind of damage they've done here. I don't know, man. Hedera is in like a clean, nifty little range. They take it to the top. They drop it to the bottom. What's the problem? Like, you guys are acting like everyone's acting like the inauguration is canceled. It's definitely not canceled. That's how I'm looking at it. Okay, let's get over here. Let's get over to PowerPoint. All right. So let's discuss the risk to the view. The risk to the view is that Bitcoin is a bubble, right? Howard Marks identifies a bubble, as a psychological extreme. You first bullet, you overestimate future potential right here, right? So everyone thinks Bitcoin's going to $10 million. No price is too high. It's infinitely valuable. Well, we heard all of this. Participation by non-expert investors. That's debatable. A lot of people piled into XRP. A lot of people in crypto got hot on the AI agents, but I don't know that you really saw normies. You saw normies for a while. They got meme coins dumped on their head, which was predictable. I don't know, man. I don't feel the hype like 2021 or the internet stock bubble, but we got a little bit too excited. I'm guilty of that. It's not what you buy, it's what you pay that counts. Oh, I agree. I don't want to pay 140 6 months from now. I think I'd rather get it now. Matter of fact, you could argue that this thing went from way overdone to like normalized with some worry and some good bearish sentiment to feed the bull. Avoiding manias is crucial to long-term investing success. So if you've managed to stay out of the highly speculative stuff, or, you can reallocate your portfolio perhaps into speculative stuff if they smack the market again, right? I have a feeling that this process of going up and then retracing and then going up and then retracing, that may be the way it is going forward. So do I think Bitcoin is a bubble? No, I don't. Do I think I got over my skis and we got smacked? Yes. Does that make me change my mind about where this market's going to be in July? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, we have sterling, okay, the pound, the Great British Peso, sadly. I don't even like the joke, but, you're coming up on a possible DeMarc bottom at 121. So maybe they have one last big hysterical trade on Sunday night. Okay, it's falling, but I don't have any reversal signals yet. Again, sterling down only. This government that they elected over there, If they don't like what you put on social media, they took it too far. Now, Mr. Market is going to push them out. They're going to push them out. I know it's terrible. Sterling down, dollar up, and I know that's kind of toxic, but in some ways I'm okay because this is a very it's a high profile political situation. It's the first time really since, the first time was the orange man getting involved in Bitcoin and the Made in America cryptos. That was foreign exchange event number one. This is foreign exchange event number two. Because the market is like, you can have Elon Musk say, I don't like this government or whatever. But when Mr. Market says it, you better pay attention. So we're changing things through the currency market. Now they can get all hysterical about inflation, but things are happening here. First, it was the Bitcoin rally, and then it was the sterling collapse. And then it'll be, I think, maybe the XRP and Solana rally. They're gonna come after new forms of money. You think anybody in England is gonna forget this? They're very foreign exchange savvy in Europe. Like people holding the euro are watching what's going on with sterling, right? This is another reason why the dollar is up only. It's happening to sterling and it's happening to the euro. So how are things going out there in fiat land? Meanwhile, back at the precious metals ranch, everybody wanted to sell gold. Oh, absolutely, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I noted, and probably not noted enough, that whenever all these dimwits were like, well, we should just dump all our gold and buy Bitcoin. I'm like, whoa, cowboy, whoa. It's like, borrow the fiat currency, sell stock, sell whatever, just not the gold. This is going to break out. You got persistent inflation, a Fed who is like, we're done. Good luck. This is going to go back to up only. It was up only before, and now it's just going right back to up only. Was a massive leading indicator of Bitcoin. I don't understand why it's a zero-sum game. It's not. Okay, so here we have Bitcoin and the chart that's got everyone running for the hills, right? So it's a head and shoulders top. The neckline is right here at 92, and crypto Twitter is going to draw this and put the fear of God in everybody. Of all the things out there that are scary, like this is scary because if they smashed it and broke down, you could have big players really leaning on it, trying to get everyone out. I mean, BlackRock and Michael Saylor, and in many ways, all these players who want to buy Bitcoin have absolutely no problem with it going to 80. So it's a terrible chart formation. It hasn't been confirmed yet. I still think the most bullish thing that can happen is that they drop it down there. They try to break it. And then the most constructive thing that can happen, to be humble, is that the bearish formation gets triggered and then reversed. That would be 140. That would be 140K. If they triggered the bearish pattern and then somehow reversed it. And, if they don't reverse it and it happens, well, then that's 80. But I'm glad that there's downside risk in Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not happy that everyone's alt bags are smoked. I'm not an idiot. Okay. So for the first time in a long time, I think it's positive that in everyone's mind, there actually is $10,000 worth of downside risk in Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin could go down $10,000 to $12,000. That's the risk. Now, so we know that it's ugly. It's there. There it is. There it is. Okay. So if it could go down $12,000, what's the upside? It's amazing. Everyone talks about 10 million. Like, oh yeah, it's going to 10 million. But if you tell people, well, do you know Bitcoin could go down $10,000? They're like, oh my God, I got to sell. Oh God, I'm negative now. Oh my God, my AI agent coin disappeared. I'm out. I'm out. We're at the start of like a 10-year uptrend, a massive change in how human beings do everything, and everyone's leaving because there's $10,000 difference in Bitcoin. You know, if Bitcoin gets to some massive upside target, it'll be moving $10,000 a day. And we're all losing our mind about $10,000 in risk. All right. We should reconsider that. We should trade the chart, manage risk, but not get hysterical because there's $10,000 or $12,000 in downside risk from a chart formation that hasn't been triggered yet. Okay, so ETH looks terrible. I don't have the Lux Algo buy signal down here that I would want. This is at equilibrium. It's balanced. It's okay, right? Solana is also balanced at the bottom of a like big upward sloping accumulation cone. A lot of support at 180. I don't understand why everyone's negative on Solana. I really don't. Solana never went up. Why are we selling something that never went up? I mean, maybe Pump.Fun is unloading on this. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know why everyone's bearish Solana. There's going to be an ICO boom. There's going to be an AI agent boom part 2, right? They're going to have a phone company. They're going to do stable coins. I still think XRP could beat them out on an ETF, but they're probably going to be an ETF because I think a lot of these investment banks like Novogratz and Kathy Wood, I think they're running Solana validators. So why is everyone selling Solana again? Why? It's a form of money. It is. It's a form of money. And everyone is like not seeing it that way. Okay, so the bond market that everyone's freaking out about really didn't freak out today. This is the long bond. Okay, interest rates are at 5%. Mortgage rates are at the highest level it's been in a while. I don't know. Fed funds are at 4.25, and the long bonds at 5%. The annualized overnight lending rate is 4 something, and the 30-year bond is 5, close to 5. Not a particularly exciting interest rate, but I don't know. Does that sound like a crisis to you? I mean, maybe if it goes through 5, but yeah, that gangbuster payroll number today, and they couldn't take it through 5. That's the one net takeaway, right? Bloomberg, oh my God, the economy's on fire. The orange man's going to destroy everything. Bloomberg, yes. B+ left-wing journalism majors. We will teach you how to invest and trade. Not doing it. Not doing it. Okay, bonds support down here, 2 or 3 days to a bottom. Weekly long bond ETF, same thing. Dollar index up only. No topping signals, like slowing momentum, yes. No topping signal yet from Lux Algo. Okay. So I always tell you that the first move that they do is wrong. So maybe they were all pumped up today. Okay. Trevor wants to be the 51st state. Bro, I grew up playing hockey. So we'll take all the hockey playing Canadians we could take. I'm okay with it. Okay, so Bitcoin won't be going this high, which is why I'm selling after the close. That's Michael Anthony. All right, so let's wrap this up and keep it simple. So you have downside risk in crypto. You do. You have anywhere from $4,000 to $12,000 in Bitcoin. You have downside risk. The inflation figures are next week, and they're not going to be good. They're not. They're not going to be good. You had bird flu. You had food prices up. It's not going to be a good news. So the market has to digest bad news for 5 days. You have short-term interest rates probably have to go higher in the U.S. because the Fed's not doing anything next year, so they have to unwind all this rate cut Kool-Aid. I still think rates are too high, but you know what? The Fed not doing anything lets gold and Bitcoin just take off. It lets gold and Bitcoin, it lets the trade happen through foreign exchange. That's how it's going to be, I think, and it's happening in sterling. As far as your altcoins go, look, I understand you got wrecked, but you also have to understand that Made in America makes a comeback in 10 days. Okay, that's it for tonight. I will see you on Monday.